Alright, got that plane all put back together. Time for the next, and really the main thing to clean off the bench is this 2150. It's been sitting here for weeks, ever since I cleaned it in the sauna cleaner. God, now I gotta figure out if I can remember. Most of it's pretty straightforward, but the choke is the one thing that now I'm starting to think, I don't quite remember how this went together. But let's get into it. I'm gonna do the best I can. It's kind of awkward to hold because of the throttle. Probably get something to set it down on. At least that half of it. Do like this. Maybe. Maybe. No. It's not much better if I went like this. There we go. Aha! All of this stuff right here. So I really cannot remember where it went. Did I go there? No, this one there. All right, I had to go look it up because I forgot, and then when I looked it up, I remembered I have to pull this piece off and put that through the, what do you call this, the spring housing or something? Which, by the way, looking it up, I didn't find any good pictures. I didn't spend very long doing it either, though. So let me put it together. I don't know if you can tell, but that is notched. This arm really only fits on one way. Little E-clip. I did that, and I think I gotta pull it back off. Okay, I wanted to look one more time to be doubly sure. I think this is all oriented in the right direction. So, put that E-clip back on there. Man, it's really hard for y'all to see. There. Okay. I need one washer. Not that one. Where is it? This towel really is making things hard. There it is. It's a pain repositioning my camera, but this little washer here goes in that location right there. And it's the only washer that anything on this side takes. And it looks like both of those holes are the same. I can't tell if it's in focus or not. But the original one, the holes are a little smaller. I'm sure it'll be fine. There you go. Okay. On the camera. Okay. Last piece here is the spring. I'm not going to adjust it quite yet. See if I can hold this. Alright. See that kind of tang right there? This piece here, if you can tell, I can get it. If you can tell, it's split like a snake tongue or something. You put the tang on the spring inside there. Saying that I've done this right anyway. I'm just going to do everything. There you go. Okay. It's really hard for me to get the camera set up in a way that makes this easy. I've got my camera mounted using something I bought off of Amazon. It has a name. Mini rig, small rig. It's pretty good, but I'm having a hard time figuring out a good place to set the camera up, because I feel like I'm always like right working in front of the lens. Okay. The choke is not set yet. It's not, forget that. Alright, I think the last thing I need to do over here for the time being, I'm just going to hook this vacuum hose back up for the choke pull off. And that's it. For the choke, get those blocks of wood out of the way. And put the accelerator pump assembly together. This little ball bearing goes right down in there. And then that. On this, the main squirter assembly, got these. Don't know what they are. They go down in there. I'm sure they're probably supposed to be oriented in some way. So if you can tell, there's holes in them. And then each one of those gets this little tube, which I'm sure has some name. And then that finishes it off. If I can get that. forgot the gasket. After all of that. Z gasket. That's better. Alright, this is why I was having such a hard time getting this thing on. It has these little shoulders on either side, and I couldn't get the new gasket. I was having a hard time getting the new gasket around that shoulder. So, that's all that was. Alright, back to putting that together. Got a couple of jets here. A set of 50s and a set of 53s. Honestly, I think the 50s are too big. I bought them when I was trying to diagnose something else, and what I think the real problem was is that this carburetor had a bunch of junk in it. I think it could go down, but that's what I got right now. They're super easy to change out if need be. I've got the float and needle assembly in a box. I'm not going to put that in yet. Power valve in. This is the chintzy one that came with that Amazon carburetor, which I'm not going to use. My rebuild kit. The rebuild kit came with a new, I'm pretty sure this is a 6.5. Let me see if I can, yeah. I don't know if y'all will be able to see. It's a 6.5, which I think is a little too, I don't know if you say small or big when it comes to these, but I think for these 258s, since their vacuum at idle is like 20 to 22. Oh, I need a washer. I mean a gasket. I think the 6.5 is too low from what I've noticed anyway. think that's all that needs. New gasket there. One thing I never understood is why that well was so deep for this one. Like, it's already made for a two-stage power valve, and I really don't need a two-stage power valve. But the Amazon one is a more typical, shallower cover. Okay. Now I'll do the accelerator pump. There we go. Sweet. Pump diaphragm itself, I thought I had an. Maybe this is the new one. It smells like gasoline though. Screwdriver into coolant. Okay. I'm going to put the idle screws back in, but one thing I noticed is that one of the springs is longer than the other one. I would assume that that's giving me different idle settings. I don't have replacement screws in this kit, rebuild kit, because it's probably not something that you typically change. Bottomed it out. Half. One and a half. Two. This one's bottomed out. One and a half. Two. Okay. you'll see. I always have to think about which way the spring goes. I don't know why. Okay. It should still be set the way I'd set it. I really actually don't like the way you set the float on these by just bending that little tang right there. But that's the way you do it. And the last part, set the top back down on. And then this is for the choke. You got to feed it down. I zoomed out, but you got to feed it down to there. And make sure your gasket's on the right way. All in the camera lens again. Okay. That's it. I've got the fuel inlet that I still have to put on. The one that was on this is on the one that's in my car. And really the last thing to do, I have to set the choke still, which is painful. That's why it's not tight. And I think that's it. Hopefully the float's still set the way I need it to. That's easy to check. Back together and off the bench.